calling us together here just briefly for some opening comments. I know we are pausing here just slightly with our formal program, as we do have some families that are still out and about on the campus tour that are here for this session, so we don't want to start without them. Anticipate that they'll be joining us soon. So I just wanted to say a few words, introduce myself. My name is Leneki. I serve as the chancellor here at the University of Wisconsin-Parkside, and it's an absolute privilege to serve this university. And I've been able to do that now for just over a year, so I'm still relatively new to the University of Wisconsin-Parkside and to this region of Wisconsin. But I do have a little bit of a unique story as a part of my Parkside experience that I'll take a few moments to share with you. And that's how I came to know about the University of Wisconsin-Parkside. Kind of fun fact is that I actually started as a Parkside parent before I became the Parkside chancellor, because my oldest son chose the University of Wisconsin-Parkside to pursue his education and to get his degree. So he's currently here as a student. He's a senior. He's supposed to graduate in May, so he's got a full slate of classes, working hard. But he chose the University of Wisconsin-Parkside because he wanted an outstanding academic program, and for him, his area of passion was around sports management, and we have that here at the university. And also because he wanted to pursue his passion to continue to compete as a student athlete, in particular at the Division II level, and we happen to be the only NCAA Division II school within the state of Wisconsin. And so he's had the opportunity to do that here as a part of our cross-country and track team. And you'll hear from one of our panelists tonight who also is a student athlete here at the university. And so that became the perfect fit for him when he was thinking about the choices that he needed to make on where he wanted to pursue, right, his next step in his journey. And that's how I came to know Parkside actually in 2021. And it was only 2.5 years later that then the opportunity to potentially serve here as chancellor opened up, and one thing led to another, and it's been a wonderful journey thus far here at the university. I want to express my appreciation for everyone taking time out to join us tonight. I know we've got a phenomenal panel here to share their story, their words of wisdom and passion about the field of education. We have our wonderful faculty here from the education department as well, and so I know they have a whole lot to share as you're thinking about the choices that are right for you and your next steps. And so I just wanted to take a few moments just to welcome you here to Parkside, to our experience tonight, encourage you, ask a lot of questions, explore, not only with our panel, but also in between, before and after our sessions tonight. Everyone's here to help support you in your journey and thinking about the choices that work best for you. So I'll turn it over, but thank you for being with us. I hope you have a great night.
I don't know if you want me. Okay, good, I'm on. I'm Maria Franshaw, assistant professor in the teacher education department. I'd like you to meet some of my colleagues. This is Dr. Liz Grobart, special education, Dr. Shannon Prince, secondary, and Mary Henderson, who makes everything work. There's always that person in an amazing department, and we get to do the great things we do because of Mary. I'm going to just show a couple things before we start. So as it's February and there's germs going around the world, of course, we have someone who's out sick. So Dr. Courtney Wirtz on the far right end, who does our literacy, couldn't be with us this evening. And it'll be fun for you to know, Greg Kramer, who does our ESL and bilingual, is on sabbatical doing research this year. So he's been given that really wonderful opportunity. And so we are 5 strong, supported by some teaching faculty. In addition to Mary, we have Nicole Meyer, who does our outreach. Those of you, is anybody here in a PAC class in a high school? So we have that in Racine and Kenosha as well as Franklin. If you're not familiar with that, please visit with one of us to know how you can get college credit while you're in high school. As well as Melissa Andrioli, who does our clinical coordination and certifies. So in addition to graduating, teacher education is a certification program. So you will graduate from here, and then the state will certify you when you complete all of those things. And then Dr. Darrell Webb, who is our newest member of our team, who's joined us from another university in Wisconsin and is our academic advisor. Our panel's going to introduce themselves a little bit later. So just in terms of area of interest, I think I'm going to go forward just a little bit because we can share some more of this information with the tour as they come back in. So, okay, we're going to pause. Okay, perfect. Your timing is perfect. Welcome. Perfect timing. We're so glad you're here. Just getting started. We have a couple slides that have more words on them than they should because we know you're going to gravitate to your area of interest. But there's so many things that we are so eager to share with you tonight about teacher education and education at Parkside. In addition to being the only Division II NCAA school, you're also sitting in the chairs of the best teacher ed program in the state. We can say that out loud. We know that it's true. We're going to tell you so many reasons why. One is on the far right. Once you are in the program, you have 4 semesters plus your full-time residency out in schools. You don't wait until like you're a senior getting ready to be certified. You're out in schools all the time. So we always say we're workforce development, like we're hands-on learning. You're out there with the students practicing the methods that you're learning. And so that is literally one of the best things, and then you can talk about that when you're ready. And these are some of the great things that you can study here with us at Parkside. So people call it being a teacher, but really it's the beginning of you being the educator that your path creates for you. There's so many things you can do with your teaching credential. All of us are practicing teachers from the K-12 field who've come to higher education. So we all have that experience. You can talk to us about anything. Some of us have taught high school and middle school and are still here to talk about it, so it's really fun. We have lots of great stories to share. And I went on to become a principal before coming here. So there's so many things you can do once you have your teaching degree. The world is your oyster, so to speak. What you need to know about teacher education at Parkside is we value relationships, building them with you. We model building relationships because that's what you're going to do in a school. And our panel is going to talk about so much of the collaboration and the hands-on opportunities they have to implement what they do in our courses. Another thing that we talk about a lot is you have to lead from where you are. So even as a teacher, you're going to be the teacher leader in your classroom. Just like a principal really is more than a principal. They're the instructional leader on a campus. So there's so many things about it. So I'm going to flip to some pictures to share with you. Some of you might be in some of these pictures. This is some of our math methods courses that I teach, and the science class with Dr. Wirtz also teaches. They're going to tell great stories, but our pictures are telling some of the stories of just how hands-on we make it so that when you are out in your clinical places, you can apply this. We had a visit from Governor Evers, who specifically asked to come to some of our teacher education classes. You'll recognize Dr. Prince on the left. I'm in that classroom on the right somewhere, but he's talking to the students. Dr. Prince also initiated and leads a mentoring program in RUSD, which has had great accolades, not only for the mentees, but also our students who are mentors. We do a lot of outreach, promoting our program, trying to advocate for future teachers out in the community. The annual See Your Future Expo, if you are an RUSD student, you've met some of us probably around the track or here. And the Educators Rising event. And then internally, we also do a lot of promoting our department within, and our students, as you can see in the pictures, have been out doing this as well. I just want to touch base on another thing that makes us also a really phenomenal program is not only are we the professors here on campus, but we do national presentations and research that's published that brings a lot of not only accolades to us as professionals, but to the university. This is we just put one slide in here. I presented at the state level with the math leaders from Racine and Kenosha. We're also on the, I'm not going to say this well, Dr. Grobart, we're also one of the initiators of CEDAR coming to Wisconsin, which we can talk about more later. And then Nicole Meyer, who was our outreach person, also does Tuesday Talk for Teachers, which has reached all the way as far northwest in Wisconsin as you can imagine, and we've even been contacted by people in Minnesota and Iowa to take our courses. And this is the first year we've initiated. So powerful, mighty things come from Little Parkside teacher education. There's plenty of opportunities for scholarships. These are some of our awards that have happened as well. You'll notice student athletes, which Ella may be talking about. Hannah is here, as well as Audrey. This was 2023. She was an outstanding graduate, and then also Mackenzie in 2024. And each year each graduation there are 6 outstanding graduates, and we've been fortunate enough to have 2 in the last 2 years, so it's really exciting. I'm rushing a little bit because I want you to hear from the panel, not really me. Graduation is a blast and a beautiful celebration. Lots of pictures, lots of smiles. We love it. Some of us sit in the front row and just cheer loudly, which we should. And then we take before and after pictures because it's just fun to celebrate all the growth and how far everybody's come. These are just some of our partners that we have. And so right now I'm going to turn it over to the panel. They're going to introduce themselves. I think we're going to go, just time-wise so you know, we're going to go until maybe like 10 to 7 or so, and then we have pizza and refreshments outside for you. We're all going to be in the hallway so you can answer questions that you have, and then at about 7:15 or so, we'll start with the pre-health. So I'm going to put our celebratory pictures back up there. So as I turn it over to Drs. Prince and Grobart, if you could, Carmen, start, introduce yourself and share some things about your major and what you're doing right now.
Sure. Hi, my name is Carmen Rossetti. I graduated in the spring of 24, so just this past year. My major was special education, and I am currently a teacher back in the hometown where I grew up in Illinois, called Lincolnwood, and I teach grades 3rd grade, 4th grade, and 5th grade for students with special disabilities.
My name is Ella Rondeau. I graduated this past December with my elementary and special education degree. I'm currently still enrolled at Parkside, pursuing my master's degree in sports management, and then I run cross country and track as well. So I do those things, and then I'm also a part-time special education aide. So I do one-on-one at an elementary school in Waterford.
My name is John Fear. I graduated in 2018 with degrees in secondary education and history and minors in political science and sociology. And I have since stayed at Parkside and finished my master's degree in applied professional studies. And I teach at Walden. I just started my 6th year. And I teach all of the juniors there, funnel through me with all the social studies electives courses. So I teach pretty much every social studies course that there is to offer.
My name is Hannah Carls. I graduated from University of Wisconsin Parkside in 2021. So I'm in my 4th year teaching in RUSD, Racine Unified School District. I teach 5th grade currently for 2 years now. I started off teaching 3rd grade. And I also coach the cheer team at Carthage, and I'm pursuing my master's in administration at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee.
I am so thrilled that they are here because we were thinking about who we could invite to this panel. It was like, how do we even pick? And we just have the most excellent array of Parkside grads, and we are just like over the moon excited. So my name is Dr. Prince, and we wanted this to be like a little not so like stuffy, me standing at a podium. So Grobart's gonna stay here and I'm gonna go over there and we will just kind of tag team, ask them questions. And if you guys have questions for our panel, we definitely want you to jump in, holla, let us know. And I'm gonna just head over there and we'll start the chat.
As Dr. Prince shared, I'm Dr. Grobart, and she's going to go ahead and get us started with our first question for our panelists tonight.
I don't actually know if does this mic work? Okay, good. All right, hi. So you guys can do this in any way that you want to answer, but like you know how to you guys are professionals, you know how to manage. So if you don't want to say something, don't, but we really want to hear those stories. So the first thing is we want to ask you, how did you actually come to Parkside? Why Parkside?
Should we go in order? I mean, okay, as teachers, we're very organized. We do things in a certain way, routine.
I'm a type B teacher, I don't know.
Okay, I'm type A. I'll go first. I have always known that I wanted to be a teacher since I could talk, and my parents are alumni, so it was a very easy decision. I grew up 7 minutes exactly down the road. I went to Horlick High School, and they didn't quite have these outreach programs that they have now, but I did take some childcare classes, and I honestly just wanted to continue the close, tight-knit family feel that I had at Horlick. And I toured a couple places, but I had always known that it was going to be Parkside because of how many opportunities there are, but it's so tight-knit and a family culture, it really is, and I felt like I was familiar with it because of my parents and events that we came back for, and I knew right away. It was easy.
That's great.
Sorry.
Just going down the line?
Yep.
Okay.
That's how it works.
Cool.
Type
All right.
A.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Okay. Thank you. So I did not have the same experience as Hannah. I definitely did not know what I was going to do for much of my life. I went to Parkside because it was just the small local school, like it was a UW school. That's great. You know, I went here just because it was the local school and that's what kind of my friends were doing at the time. So I found my way here not knowing what I was going to do. So I went to what my dad went to, which was business. I was like, cool, general business degree. And no disrespect to that field, but I sat in like a semester of those classes and I was like, this is so boring. Like I can't sit in 4 years of these classes. So I had, through various experiences, had people telling me, like, you should consider teaching. Like, it seems like that would be a natural fit for you. And I will be honest, I self-doubted myself a lot, and I didn't feel like I would ever, like, who am I to teach a room full of children? So I bounced around for a couple years, actually. I ended up leaving Parkside for a year, going to a different school, and finding my way back here. And I give credit to the Parkside education department here a lot because of that first course. It was EDU 100 when I was here. And before you're even admitted into the program, you have to do 20 hours of like clinical placements. At least when I was here, that's what we had to do. And I got that first experience of sitting in a classroom, and it was a middle school room. And from that moment is like when I fell in love. I saw it from that teacher angle of just that teacher side of things and running a classroom and interacting with the kids. And I realized kind of from that moment is when I had that moment of like not looking back. That's where I really, hit the road with social studies and just enjoying my history classes is why I went with the social studies world.
So I chose Parkside just because all throughout high school I knew I wanted to be a teacher, very similar to Hannah. I come from a family of teachers as well. And another important thing was my athletic career. So I heard about Parkside through my coach. And when I toured, I instantly fell in love and was like, I need to come here. And then I heard about the education program and did a lot of research, and it was an amazing program and has been very successful. So I was like, I am coming here. It's decided, and I've loved it ever since. So.
A couple of things brought me to Parkside. I too come from a family of teachers, and from a very young age I knew that I wanted to teach. not what I wanted to teach, but just teaching in general. Going into my junior and senior year of high school, it's when you start taking your SATs or ACTs, and you're kind of getting ideas and seeing friends and just kind of looking at what everybody's thinking about. And the one thing that I knew is that I didn't want to be just another student or just a number in a classroom in a big lecture hall of, 400 whatever people, that I wanted to, have that connection with my professor and have the connection with the students who were taking the same courses and had the same passions that I did. And so the small family feel brought me to Parkside. I also grew up coming here for summers. My grandparents had a house up here that they eventually moved to. And I ended up getting to spend 4 wonderful years with them during my time here at Parkside. And so all of those things combined, along with the just amount of push and drive that the teachers give you when you're in your clinicals, and having that experience early on to kind of put your toes in the water, see how you're feeling, see if you like it, really brought me here. And I'm so glad that it all worked out and that I get to bring everything that I've learned into the field professionally.
And where are you now?
I'm in Lincolnwood. I'm back home in Illinois.
Right. Just want to make sure that we mentioned where you ended up.
Yes.
So, John, you had actually mentioned about some of your business classes, and I'm curious to know, and if you could share with all of us about some of your education courses, really all of you. So, share a bit what your classroom experiences were like. So things like, anything from the content to the practical hands-on learning opportunities that you had, any kind of connections between courses and assignments, and also being in all of those clinical placements that you all really talked about there.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed my time in the education program here at Parkside. I think it was set up really well. The knowledge that you gained from the classes specifically was so valuable, especially as somebody that did not come from like a family of teachers. I mean, I have a family that's like worked in the education world, but not as teachers. So I didn't have a lot of like go-to people I could count on as like personal experience of what it was like to be a teacher. So those classroom experiences were great. I can think of some of the biggest ones being the assistance and the help and just knowledge that I gained on like the special education department, and knowing very little about it going into these clinical placements, but having an understanding of what just some of the terminology is. You guys, there's so many acronyms in the teaching world, and like just having a place to break down what all of those are was huge. Then, the lesson plans that you build, right? Like those massive lesson plans that you work on in the university, which you look back on, you're like, I don't write those every day, but man, they really force you to like look through and think through every aspect of your day. They're things that hopefully now we're all doing like kind of in our heads more maybe, but they really force you to think through every aspect of the class period, and are you using time productively, and how are you using the best time? And then something I'll probably mention to several of the questions, but the like forced reflections. That to me is the biggest thing with teaching, is reflecting on what you're doing and being willing to go with the flow and change. And that was one of the best practical things that I think I learned from any of my classroom experiences or clinicals, was just to always be reflective in what we're doing in every aspect, class to class, hour to hour, year to year, we're always reflecting.
Yeah, I want to add that even though some of the professors are different now, some of them are still the same, but I really could feel that they all worked together for us too. I felt like things were linked, everything was connected. In fact, some assignments could be a resource for a different assignment in a different class. It was encouraged. The collaboration is a huge piece of the education world. You're always working with other people. You have to. You will not survive without other people, right? So that was huge. I remember that being a huge thing. Everything overlapped. It was really, really great to see my professors working together and then encouraging us students to work together. And I feel like, honestly, a really big thing was the group projects, because you're going to have a team as a teacher, and you need to learn to work with all different types of people. Even if they're type B people, it'll be okay. You'll survive. No. And so I feel like the group projects really stood out to me, and just seeing that my professors had relationships and they really wanted the best for us. It was clear, so.
Yeah, definitely the teamwork, and just having peers that you connect with on that personal level. Like Carmen and I had a bunch of classes together, so we grew very close over our 3 years that we were together. So that was super important and awesome to have. And then just being a student athlete as well, having the professors understand different circumstances, just traveling and not always being in class, but class was always just super fun. We did a lot of hands-on activities. It's not as much lecture. It's very like we did a bunch of Kahoots and we used a lot of math manipulatives. Being a hands-on learner, that was super fun to have those experiences. And I think you don't really get those in other like careers and majors as well. So,
yeah. To add to everything that they were saying, because everything that they said was 110% correct, our professors also kind of took into consideration how we would kind of our different teaching styles, and so we were all treated as adults, but they used some of the techniques that we would see or that we could use for students. So we could see them modeled and then have an opportunity to model them with our peers or take them back into our practicums and our clinical placements. So having, and everything that you guys said, having those key little points to take away and not just, oh, here's a research paper, okay, you're done. Having those hands-on things to take away was really helpful because you could keep growing and reflecting on your experience throughout the program.
You talked a lot about clinicals. We've been using this term clinicals over and over again. And it's one of the things that really makes our program stand out, that we're the most proud of, that you start having 20 hours, 30 hours, 40 hours, 60 hours in a placement while you're still in your placements, like a junior, when you're a senior. And then, of course, everyone knows about student teaching, but we have so much more experience than that. So we want to hear about your clinicals before you got into your teaching career. Share some of those experiences about what you had out in the field, some of those aha moments, things that really changed when you had all that experience.
I will say that there is nothing like the actual experience in a classroom that really, in my case, drove home that this is what I want to do. In fact, my first couple semesters, I think like the requirement was 10 hours, and I literally was there like 10 hours a week because I just loved it so much and I was so eager and excited, and that was my very first semester. I also forgot to mention in my introduction that I'm an ESL minor, which is English as a second language, and I got placed with an ESL teacher in RUSD one of my semesters, actually the semester that everything shut down. That was crazy, but regardless, to have that opportunity, even if becoming an ESL teacher isn't something that I'm planning on doing, it was just more so a resource that I wanted to have as a teacher in a diverse district. Having that experience and tagging along with a teacher one-on-one was really, really, really cool. So the clinicals were incredible. I was extremely fortunate. Every single one of my mentor teachers were amazing. I had some in Kenosha and Racine. It was great. I had 3rd grade, I had 4th grade, I had 6th grade, I had 2nd grade. I mean, I had 2nd, 3rd split. It was amazing. I had rural, I had urban. All of the different experiences. I had always known that I wanted to teach in an urban school district. However, getting all angles, all different types of clientele, big schools, small schools, all of it. It's so helpful. It is just so helpful. And from the very beginning, I mean, it really, you can see, you're right there in it because it is different than being in it as a student. When you are on the other end, it's different, and you can really see and make sure this is something that you want to do because it's a very, very rewarding career, but it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Absolutely. They are the clinicals are the best part to me, of the student teaching or the education program. I mean, the classes are great, but the clinicals are like you said, they're where you really see the hands-on real world experience. You learn here's the best practice of what you should do, but okay, what's happening in reality, right? Like what's practically going on.
And too, like, I wrote down here, like, I learned what to do and
Yeah.
what not to do.
Yeah.
Even though I said all my teachers, all my mentor teachers were incredible, I'm like, okay, I don't think I'm going to be doing
Yeah.
that. No problem, thank you.
I was gonna say, like, I worked with great people, you know, and they were all great, and they all had pros and cons of their own, and so by working with such a variety of people, you really get to help find your own way of, like, what is your own style, because it's gonna be unique to you, and so you get to see, like, okay, you know, you teach this way, you teach this way, and you get to kind of make and pull blends to whatever you want it to be. I'll say that they're great for, you know, I would encourage everybody to take full advantage of them. Everybody I worked with was so welcoming to be a part of any team that I was wanting to go on, you know, above and beyond what, like, the minimum requirements were. And so I got to sit in on certain staff meetings that, like, I would otherwise have been my first time going in and not knowing what was going on. So just being a part of the full community, even beyond just, like, the classroom walls of where you are, was such a huge opportunity, I felt. Yeah, that's where my brain stopped, so go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought I had more, but I can't think of where I was going.
So I've also had just a wide range of clinical placements, being from like high school, special education, which was a really great experience, all the way to elementary special education, and then middle school general education. So just kind of all over, and getting the different areas and perspectives and placements has been super cool, just to see how each classroom is, each teacher is, in taking the notes, what to do, what not to do, and just watching my personal growth too over the years of me being a teacher. I walked into my first classroom and I immediately just went in the corner. I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And then I ended with my residency, like rearranging the classroom.
Yes.
And my mentor would walk in and I'd be organizing everything. And she's like, oh, okay, like this is your classroom. So it was really cool to just see my personal growth as a teacher and kind of what and who I can be as well. So.
I would say, just to reiterate kind of what you were saying, Hannah, working with all different types of people, students, learners, teachers, is so important. And so being in the amount of clinicals that we were in, it had to have been like 4 or 5. I started during COVID, so it was a little different.
Sure.
But being in so many, it just helps you so much. And it can be scary, but one of the people who you saw on the screen, Melissa Andrioli, does a really good job at kind of placing you where she sees best and for your fit. You do get kind of a variety of all the grades. I was in kindergarten, I was in 8th grade. Urban, rural, same as you, same as all of us. And so the fact that we're kind of all having the same answers too is just a nod to the consistency of the program and how much they care. But Melissa, you know, she looks at your classes, she looks kind of where you're living, if you're a commuter, you know, we're not gonna make you drive 40 minutes, all that good stuff, and really helps you to feel comfortable there. So when you are there, I know a lot of my mentors, one of the big thing, I'm a special education major, so the differentiation and modification of the curriculum seemed very scary to me starting off. So those experiences, not only learning about them in your courses, but then going and trying it out in the classroom, getting observed by certain professors to see how you utilize it, just all together encompassed was just wonderful and very helpful, and just makes you feel comfortable in the classroom to see if it's really what you want to do and if you really have a passion for it.
So we've heard a lot of great things so far from our panelists, and I wanted to pause for a second from the questions from Dr. Prince and I to see if there's anything here that you are wondering and would like to ask, because we want to make sure you're getting all of your questions answered too. Someone will come to you with a microphone.
Yeah, you need to speak into the mic because we're live streaming.
I was just wondering, what is the difference between clinical and student teaching?
Sure. Do you want to? Sure, go.
Okay. Clinical placements are I will say, part-time placements that you will be placed into. So that graphic on the screen, like your first semester, it'll be, sorry, Dr. Francho, maybe if you can, thank you so much. Your first semester, your second semester, and your third semester, and then half of your fourth semester, you'll be in like 10 hours, 20 hours, 30 hours. It'll gradually go up. Student teaching is full-time. You are in that school with your mentor teacher all day long, 5 days a week, in that school as if you were that teacher's shadow. And so the clinical placements, you can pick your hours, you can pick what time of the day you want to come. If you want to get all of your hours in one day for the week, that's fine. I remember having to do a couple mornings a week. One placement I did half a day in the AM, then another day was the PM. So you're flexible with your hours. But residency, student teaching, same thing. Residency and student teaching is the same thing, and it's full-time. You're there all day long.
So one little fine point of it is, to get to full-time residency, you've completed all your coursework and you need nothing else to do except your full-time residency.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes. And then you come back and celebrate graduation.
Yep.
And this is special to Parkside. This is not something that every teacher education program has. In fact, most do not. And it's part of like one of the keystones that we actually have, that you have so much experience that's built into your program. And when you're taking courses in the EDU, like an education course about literacy or about mathematics, you are out in the field, and then so you're actually applying what you're learning in the classroom out in the real K-12 classroom. So that's pretty special too about the clinicals.
I've been very fortunate now. I've taken on student teachers from Parkside now for the last few years as well, and work with them too. And it is really cool to see that process. And I'll just speak to that point that I'm working with a student right now from another university who has more of a traditional setup, and they're about to go into their full student teaching, their full residency in the fall. And their program, he works with me for 2 weeks. Is his first classroom experience. He's been doing all of his classwork, and his first time ever in a classroom now is 2 weeks with me. He observes me for a week. He gets to teach 3 lessons, and then he's student teaching in the fall. Like, that would be terrifying for me. And so again, like, credit to the program. Like, it is time. You know, like, not getting around that. It is time and it is work. But you are so much stronger and better when you come out through it by going through it and getting all that experience and that exposure. Because I'm trying to now work with this guy and give him as much info as I can in like this 2-week little window.
That's quite a crash course.
Yeah, it's intensive. So it is a giant credit to the program here that they have this set up.
Yeah.
Principals in the area are 100% aware of what a Parkside graduate means. And so I actually teach the class that they take while they're in their student teaching. And it is 100% almost impossible to keep them from offering them jobs right there on the spot. It's like, no, they have to finish and get their license first, and then they'll come to you. But that is really the reputation that we're making, and it just keeps growing every year.
So it's 10 to 7. We're going to stop there for now. I want to thank our panel. Thank you so much for being here. All of us in teacher education are going to stick around. We'll be out in the hallway with you. There's pizza and veggies and refreshments. And then at 7:15, please come on back in for pre-health and Dr. Lewis. So thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I was ready to go.
Yes, of course. She wants a photo.
Yeah.
All right, well, good evening and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight for our session here. I know we're going to have some amazing words of wisdom come from our panel, but so happy to spend a little bit of time with you this evening with our spotlight on our pre-health programs here at the University of Wisconsin Parkside. I'm here just to welcome you to the University of Wisconsin Parkside. My name is Lynn Akey. I serve as the chancellor here at the university. I've been here for just a little while, a little over a year now at the institution, but I've come to know the University of Wisconsin Parkside over the last several years. And the reason why that is, because part of my story is that I was a Parkside parent before I became the Parkside chancellor. My oldest son, as he began his college journey and exploring back in 2021, stumbled across Parkside because he was looking for two things. One, a strong academic program in his area of interest, which happened to be sports management, as well as an institution that could meet his desire to continue to compete as a student athlete at the NCAA Division II level. And we here at Parkside happen to be the only NCAA Division II athletic program in the state of Wisconsin. So he brought those two things together, and that brought him here to Parkside. And me to Parkside back in 2021. Little did I know at that time that a few years later I would be standing here today as the chancellor of the university. I certainly have come to know a lot more about the university and a lot more about this region that we're located in within the Milwaukee-Chicago corridor. Just a very special place to be for a very special institution. And so I know we'll showcase some of that tonight, so I don't want to spoil all of the fun and surprise that's coming. But I do have, I think, the pleasure of kicking off our time together. And again, want to say welcome. We're so glad you're here. Look forward to many of you being students with us this fall and in the future. We do some incredible things here, particularly within our pre-health programs. I know you're going to hear about that. I see I'm handing it over to Dr. Brian Lewis. Phenomenal. Y'all are going to have an amazing time together. So, Dr. Lewis.
Well, thank you, Chancellor Akey. I appreciate the introduction. I appreciate you being here kicking this off. My name is Brian Lewis. I'm the Director of Pre-Health Programs here at the university. I'm also a faculty member in the Department of Health, Kinesiology, Sport Management, and the Associate Dean here in the College of Natural and Health Sciences. And some of that matters and most of it doesn't. Really what I'm here to talk to you about tonight is a little bit about the pre-health program that we have here at the university. I want to share with you just some of the highlights of the program, some of the philosophies of the program. We're going to highlight some fantastic students that are part of our panel today, so big thanks to them up front with us. And then hopefully we'll have some time for you guys to ask some questions. We'll talk about what we're doing. We'll talk about where we're going, some exciting stuff that we're doing in that area. And if you guys do have questions along the way, please also feel free to raise your hand. I do not mind being interrupted. So I've kind of titled this pre-health program at UW Parkside, I know we're in your backyard, but, okay, let's talk about the program here a little bit. And if I'm going too fast, let me know, but that's a real problem. So, just really quick, this is kind of what we're going to do. I'm a nerd, I'm a science nerd and a professor, so I always have an outline of where we're going, okay? Quick introduction. Hi, I'm Brian. Very brief history of what the university is all about. What are students needing to do to qualify for programs, since some of you might be looking at pre-health careers. I thought maybe we would do a little session tonight, treating you like your Parkside students already. And let's talk a little bit about what you have to do. I'm gonna try to give you a little taste of what it might be like to be a student here at the university. We're gonna try that, okay? See how it goes. And then we're gonna talk a little bit about what our students have done. And then we're gonna let the students talk about what they've done. And then we're gonna talk about where we're going. We'll have time for questions. So, you guys ready to do this? Are you guys ready? Let's do this, right? Let's have some fun with this. Don't be afraid. Be a little afraid. Quick intro. We talked a little bit about who I am. So we talked about my titles. We're going to let that go. For tonight, I also want you to consider me to be a recovering pre-medical student. A long time ago in a galaxy not so far away, I was a bio major, chem minor who wanted to go to medical school and become an orthopedic surgeon. Something changed. Okay? But part of the reason I bring that up right now is when I'm working with students at the university, I want you guys to know that I have walked down the road that you are likely planning on walking down. I understand how scary it might be. I understand some of the pressure you might feel. And I want you to know that at Parkside, this is something you do not have to do by yourself. Okay? I'm going to help you get where you want to go. The university is going to help you where you want to go. Your peers are going to help you where you want to go. So why am I qualified to do this? Because of that, and I've been doing this for nearly 30 years now. Okay? And I know that may be, be hard to understand, because I know I still look really young. But the bottom line is, I've done this before. I've helped build these programs. Let me help you do this. I always tell my students, you are the ones who have the keys to the car and you're driving to the destination. That's your job. I'm the guy in the seat next to you who has all the maps that can help you figure out how to get there. Okay? All right. Overall philosophy. So this is big, right? What do you need to do to be a successful student, to be a competitive candidate to get into professional programs? Here's one of the keys for that. If this is what you want to do, then are you getting into these programs? The answer to that question is already yes. It's already yes. You're going to do this. It's not a question of, are you going to become a physician? Are you going to become a pharmacist? Are you going to become a dentist? It's yes. If you want it bad enough and it's something that you really believe in, then you are going to get there. That's the mindset. It's just a question, I'm okay, it's just a question of how are you getting there? When are you getting there? And where are you going? But you have to believe that what you are planning on doing is possible. And if you've got that, you've got everything you need. So that's just the general overall philosophy that I have with this. Now let's get a little more specific. I'm going in the wrong direction. Okay, let's do some really fast recent history. I was hired in the summer of 2000, so this is my 25th year here at the university. When I was hired here, I was charged with two things: to reinvigorate the pre-health program and to grow the program. In 2000, we had about 150 students that were considered pre-health students at that time throughout the scope of the university. I had 12 students applying to professional programs that first year, and 11 got in. Over the last 25 years, we have more than tripled the size of the program. We're at about 500 students right now in the program, but here's really what I want you to know. That first year it was 91%. Right now, the overall placement rate we have of students over the last 25 years is about 89%, and for medical school, it's 91%. The program has grown a lot, but the quality of the program remains the same. Our students are still getting the attention and the help that they need to get where they're looking to go. We'll come back to some of these things later, and again, fun graphs. I already informed you I'm a nerd. Okay, so we've been doing really good things for a really long time. A couple things that you may not know about Parkside, even though we are in your backyard. Since 2000, they asked me to expand the program. So I did. Okay. In 2007, we created a Center for Health Sciences. We really created this out of thin air. I created it because I wanted to build a whole bunch of programs and I needed a place to put them. So we created the Center for Health Sciences. And since that time period, we have created an applied health sciences major that has multiple concentrations like pre-physical therapy, pre-physician assistant, pre-occupational therapy, pre-chiropractic, whole bunch of occupational therapy. And since that time period, we've added in things in public health. We have a concentration in public health. We have a program in the Center for Health Sciences called Health Information Management and Technology, which is a 100% online program for students who want to do electronic health records. We have a medical lab sciences program that we built in 2019, and starting in 2025, we have a rad sciences program in those areas. We also added pre-health concentrations in both biological sciences and chemistry, specific tracks for students who are looking to go to medical school, pharmacy school, veterinary school within those majors. We have a master's program now in healthcare administration for people who may want to get into a healthcare career, but maybe they don't necessarily want to work day-to-day with patients. Not everybody wants to go to medical school. We have a master's program in clinical mental health counseling now. Great area of need. We have this wonderful nursing program, a consortial program between UW Parkside and UW Milwaukee. When I first started here, we had 24 students a year in that program. Now we're up to 40. We're trying to create programs that are serving the needs of our community. We're going to talk a little bit later about a brand new program that we have approved, which is a Master of Science in Physician Assistant Studies program here at the university. I'm very excited about this program. That program is going to start in either summer of 27 or 28. Ask me more about this. There's more to come. But this is what we have done. I just wanted to highlight that because it's possible that many of you didn't know that these are all things that we actually have here at Parkside. And now you know. We have a lot of opportunities, a lot of things that students can do to help you guys figure out what your career pathway is going to be. Again, very briefly, what are we all about? This is my version of brief, by the way. This advising model that they gave me the opportunity to create is really based on the experiences I had as an undergraduate. I actually went to a small private liberal arts college, and I had an opportunity, a great opportunity, to get to know my professors, and I got a lot of attention from them in terms of helping support me through my undergraduate career. I've been blessed with the opportunity at this university to bring that same liberal arts mindset to this program. UW Parkside is not a gigantic campus. It's not a massive student population. We had the opportunity here to create a really hands-on, customized pre-health program where students can get individualized attention, where we'll do things like start to finish, help you pick out every single class you are taking in your career. Right? There's a number of pre-health students here in the audience. We have several up here on the panel. Am I lying about that, right? This is borderline intrusive advising practice, right? We're going to help you pick the classes, figure out what majors you need, what prerequisites you need to qualify for programs. We're going to come up with those plans individually. We're going to help you get the experiences you need to qualify for programs in terms of internships and shadowing experiences. You're going to get application support. You will have faculty and staff that are going to help you write your essays. They're going to help you fill out the application. They will help you select schools, right? They will encourage you to dream big and to do things that seem really crazy, like getting into pharmacy school, applying after your first year of pharmacy school and having that happen. Test preparation, interview preparation, support, support, support. This is about, again, creating a program that gives you guys the help you need to help you be competitive candidates for programs, not just qualified. There's a difference between being a qualified candidate and being a competitive candidate. If you guys are looking at professional health programs, my guess is it's your hope to try to get in. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, right? But very few people that I've known in my life said, I want to go to medical school, but I really just want to apply. I don't really want to get. This is about helping you figure out, what do you need to do? Why is this so important for you? And then helping you take that passion and turn it into a plan that will get you where you want to go. This is what we do. This is what we're all about. This is why I am here. This is why I am still here. This is why I'm not going anywhere. Okay? We're going to help you get these experiences. Students are scared to do this. I was terrified to do this. Right? 18-year-old in college, wanted to become an orthopedic surgeon, going to the one hospital in the city I was at. Nobody knew who I was. This was really hard to get. But experience is so important, right? It's how you know this is what you want to do. You can read about it, you can look at it on the internet, but until you get those experiences, you actually don't know for sure, right? So we've created a lot of clinical partnerships. We do a lot of internships. We do a lot of shadowing experiences. And we're going to make you do this, just like the teacher education people that were up here before, telling you that you have to get these experiences from the word go, right? That's this plan as well. We have first-year seminar classes for pre-health students where we require you to get shadowing experiences. You have to go get these, and then you're going to write reflective papers on this, do presentations. This applied health sciences major we created in 2007 is maniacal because we're going to make you get 300 hours of experience before you graduate. You have to get this. Experience is highly advised for all pre-health students. You will not be able to get through this program without getting those experiences. We will find you. Okay? We're small. We will find you. Okay? You will get the help that you need. Just this last fall is a fun example of this. We had over 40 students in the pre-health program doing 40 separate internships at different clinical locations within Racine and Kenosha. This is what we do. You're going to get this. right? Small program, nowhere to hide, okay? If you're looking to hide, go to a different school. That's not ours, okay? So let's do some of this just really quick. How am I doing on time? I'm doing okay. I'm going to speed up maybe a tiny little bit. No, I'm doing okay? You still all right? Okay. Everything is okay. I'm like this all the time. Let's do some of this, okay? How many people in here are students that are thinking about potentially coming to Parkside? Or at least that I'm scaring away right now? How many are you thinking to do this? Okay, see a whole bunch of, okay. All right, good. All right, so let's pretend you're a student at Parkside right now. You're looking to go into a professional health program. Let's talk about what do you need to do to get there. Okay. So you need good grades. What does this mean? We'll talk. It's more complex than you might think. A good major. We're really going to talk about that quite a bit. Talk about experiences, we'll talk about service, and then ultimately what does it mean to be a good candidate. Part of what I'm hoping to do with this is also debunk some myths that are out there, common myths that I was told when I was a student, and it turns out they're still alive and well today. So let's do some of this. Let's talk about grades to start with. What do you need to do? Everybody knows you need high grades to qualify for programs, right? You've probably all heard this before. So what does it exactly mean? Your grade point average that you need for professional health programs is going to be somewhere at the collegiate level between a 3.0 and a 3.7. When you were looking at something like medical school, the national average last year for grades for students who got accepted to these programs was about a 3.7 grade point average. Now I want you to kind of hear that just for a second, and we're going to get a little nerdy on you here. We're going to talk statistics. So everybody grab your notebook. 3.7 average means that there are people who get in with a 3.7, people are getting in with a 4.0, and then the range of statistics means people are also getting in with a 3.4, a 3.3, and a 3.5. Does that make sense? You do not have to have a 3.7 grade point average to get in. You do not need a 4.0 to get in. Okay? People get really freaked out by this and they think it's really, I have to get really good grades. Of course you have to get good grades. But the myth is you don't have to be a solid A student in order to qualify for these programs. You don't have to have a 4.0 grade point average to be a competitive candidate for these programs. Remember that the average number you see reported means there is a range. Statistically, stats don't lie. It's a range that you can go around and still be really competitive. Here's another thing. I have to say this carefully. The grades you get in high school, you will not report when you're applying to professional programs. So if you are a late bloomer, and maybe you're not doing all that great in high school, but you've really come on and you're worried that your high school grade point average is going to affect your ability to get into pharmacy school, you can set that down. Once you start college, it's a clean start. No one's going to ask you for your high school grade point average. No one's going to ask you for your high school class rank. Right? So what I like to say is if you finish 200 out of 200, don't worry about it. Fresh start, you're fine. If you're valedictorian of your high school, congratulations. It's a fresh start. You got to do that all over again. Okay? So your grade point average is only what you have done while you were in college. Okay? Clean start. They're going to look at your grade point average when you're applying to professional programs a whole bunch of different ways. Now, I'm not going to go deeply into weeds here, but they're going to look at your science classes versus your other classes. They're going to weigh how you've done in later years more than you've done in your first couple of years. They look for trends, right? There's a lot of different ways to get to a 3.5, which is a fantastic grade point average when you're applying to programs. You can have a 3.5 all the way. Well done. You can start a little bit lower and go much higher. You can start much higher and get much lower. Okay? That's not the direction. Okay? You're looking to do with this, right? This is stuff that we coach all the time. Okay? So myth number one, what you did in high school is not going to affect you. Moving on. Okay? Myth number two, your grade point average gets split up a whole bunch of different ways. And you don't have to start off college as a rock star in order to get into these programs. They're forgiving. Okay? You can do this. Again, that's very important. Okay? Do not beat yourself up too badly if you feel like you're not doing well right away. This is from last fall. Just a quick average with this, and I'm happy to share PowerPoints with anybody. These are the average grade point average nationally of students who got accepted to different programs over the last year. Okay? So when you look at medical school MD, that was a 3.79. You also have another program called Osteopathic Medical School, and that was a 3.6. That's how I'm coming up with a 3.7. There are two different ways to become a physician in this country. One of them is MD, medical school, allopathic programs. The other one is DO, osteopathic medicine. Those are both valid career pathways, and you can do any careers in medicine with either one of those. If this is news to you, grab my card, come talk to me. Okay, there's a lot of different ways to get into these types of programs, right? So these are all, again, high grade point average, but remember what I just told you about average. It's a range around that. So if the average GPA, if anybody's looking to go, let's pick on one. Physician assistant programs, because I know there's a couple of people who might be interested in that. National average last year was a 3.6. Does that mean, audience interaction time, does that mean you have to have a 3.6 to get in? No. Does it mean you have, thank you. Okay, does that mean you have to have a 4.0 to get in? No. Does it mean if you have a 3.4 grade point average, you're probably going to be pretty competitive for those programs? Yep. Yep. Stats don't lie. It's the truth. I don't lie to any of my students, right? It's the truth. Okay? These are myths that get built up in people's heads, and I had them too. Okay? You can get where you're looking to go. Of course it's going to be hard. Of course it's going to be challenging. It's going to be okay. All right. And so again, myth number 3. It's not as hard as you think. It's still hard, okay? Right? You can't have a 2.0 grade point average and get into programs, but we'll talk about that. Let's get into the next thing. This is a big myth. What major should you have? Boy, do I like talking about this one, okay? You can see the screen, so it's going to make the illusion not as fun, okay? But a lot of people, myself included, thought that you had to major in the sciences in order to be a really competitive candidate for programs. So I'm just going to show you this. This is from this organization called AAMC. I'm going to encourage you not to believe me with this and look it up. AAMC is the National Clearinghouse for data on students who are applying to medical school in the country. In 2021, this is a list of the majors and what percentage of the students who had that major who got into professional programs. I would like to point out the first one. I know Dean Walker is in the room, right? That in 2021, the top major in terms of percent of students who got accepted to medical school were majors in the arts and humanities. 44% of those students had that degree and got into medical school. Just for fun, let's take a look at biology, which is the traditional major that a lot of students choose. That was 36%. Let's go even further. Let's say you were a pre-med major. That was 35%. Now, I'm not making this up, and I'm not lying. So what does that mean? It means medical schools and professional health programs don't care. They don't care what your major is. Just to prove that, here's 2024. This just got released 2 weeks ago. Does that look relatively familiar? Okay. It doesn't mean that you should major in Spanish, and that's going to give you a better chance to get into medical school. It means if you love Spanish, then major in Spanish. Because they don't care. Yes, you're going to need the right prerequisite classes. Yes, you're going to need the right grades. Yes, you're going to need the experiences, all that stuff. But major in what you love. Major in what you have passion for. Part of my job is to make sure that you satisfy all the requirements you need for those programs. They care that you know who you are, that you are authentically yourself, and that you understand what you're doing, but more importantly, that you understand why. Does this make sense? Hope that makes sense. So major in what you enjoy, major in what you do well in. Remember, they still do care about grades. This is kind of what you have to do for most of your prerequisite classes. Now, this looks terrifying sometimes to students as well. 1 year of bio, 2 years of chemistry, a year of physics, math through stats, anatomy, physiology, biochemistry. It sounds like a lot. It's really not. Like a bio major on our campus is 14 classes. How many biology classes do you need to qualify for most professional programs? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. So if you're going to major in bio, please do. I'm a bio major. I'm a huge nerd. Love biology. But do it because you love biology, not because you think it's going to get you a better chance to get in. When you're looking at these prerequisites, AP and IB, it's supposed to be IB, not IP. I don't know what IP is on that. But those actually do qualify for professional programs. But the grades, remember, that you get in those AP classes in high school, those grades do not come forward. The credit can, but not the grades. Really quick on experience, absolutely you need experience. You need it for 3 basic reasons. The first one for me is the most important one, informational, to help you figure out, is this the right fit for you? That's number 1, okay? You have to know, and the only way you know is by getting those experiences. Number 2, it's required for admissions committees, right? If you want to become a dentist, they want to know you shadowed a dentist. Okay, right? If you shadowed a pharmacist and you're looking to go to dental school, something didn't match, right? That makes sense, right? You're also going to need letters of recommendation. If you are asking a pharmacist for a letter of recommendation that you have never shadowed, I guarantee that will not be a great letter of recommendation. Okay, so put in the time. Put into it because it's important for you, because it's required, and because you're going to be asking people for letters. So make sure you do that as well. Okay. What type of experiences can you get? All these. Okay? We help you with all these at Parkside. Volunteering, internship, shadowing, get leadership experiences in those areas. Get community health. Getting some telehealth in today's world is not a bad idea for these programs. Key strategic point for getting experiences, more is not necessarily better. You do need a certain number of hours of experience to qualify for programs. These schools, once you get past that number, do not care. It's about what you got out of that experience. It's about the moments that you have had with patients that have reinforced your passion, your desire for what you are looking to do. It's internal, not external. Get the experiences because they are important for you to get. I would argue fewer activities, more depth is better than more activities that are superficial. Get the experiences for you, to help you be a better professional, to help you develop. We have a really good program in here. Oh, I'm running very late now. Okay, we have a really good program here. This is some of the statistics. They're kind of fun, right? Medical schools in the last 25 years, 191 people have applied, 175 have gotten in. There's your 91%. It's real. We're small, we're mighty, okay? The students that we have who apply to programs are awesome candidates for these programs, right? You have to buy in. You have to do what I'm talking about here, and you have to do it for you. Our job is to help give you the support that you need to get there. Pharmacy school, same basic numbers, really good for pharmacy school. Physician assistant, 70%, sounds a little bit lower than the other ones. Last year, the national average, students who got into physician assistant programs was 27%. 27, ours is 70. Medical school, national average, about 44%. Ours is a 91. We're a good program. We're a good program. Okay, it's hard. We're going to work you. There's no hiding. Okay, we're a small campus. But if your goal is to get in somewhere, I know we're in your backyard. But, okay. All right, that's enough for me. Okay. I have a panel of students that have agreed to come here tonight. We have Fahad Aziz, who is a soon-to-be physician. We have Tony Ferraro, who is a soon-to-be pharmacist. And we have Matt Davis, who's a soon-to-be dentist. All 3 of the people you see before you have all been accepted to programs, and we'll be starting those programs in the fall. Excellent. So what I have charged them to do is to have a conversation with you about why they chose Parkside, what they got out of Parkside, and why maybe that it's not a bad idea to consider doing it. So I will turn the stage over to you guys. Go ahead, Tony.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tony Ferraro. I am a sophomore here at UW Parkside, and I'm currently completing my prerequisites for pharmacy school. For me, coming to Parkside was an extremely easy choice because, first of all, I was born and raised in Kenosha, so I've always been around Parkside. I did swim lessons here as a little kid. I live around 2 minutes away, and I even work at the Petrifying Springs Beer Garden directly next door. But even with all these circumstances, I would have chosen to attend UW Parkside even if that meant that I had to move to a completely different state. Because at the end of the day, the numbers don't lie. If you plan on pursuing a career in the medical field, there are many reasons why Parkside is the best place to be. For one, the small school and class sizes add a lot of personalization to your education. All of my professors know exactly who I am. They say hi to me in the hallways, and when I stop in their office to ask questions, they give me help tailored to my needs because they actually know me. At bigger schools, you will not get that. Second, tuition. Parkside is the most affordable school in the UW system, which is amazing because, as every pre-health student knows, it's better to save your money now because professional school can be very expensive. Lastly, and definitely most importantly, the advising. Having easy access to your advisors is the most important tool you could have in college. Because ultimately, like Dr. Lewis touched on, college is a journey. You tell your advisors your destination, and they'll make you a map, and it's up to you to follow it. But as everyone knows, it's very easy to make a wrong turn, even when the directions are directly in front of you. There can be bumps or even detours, but luckily, your advisor is always prepared and happy to keep you on route and get you to your destination. I'm gonna be honest, looking back at my life, I think at some point I would have figured out that I wanted to be a pharmacist, but without the help from my advisors, especially Dr. Lewis, I'd be lost. I can't tell you how many times a week I have to walk past my advisor's office just to ask a quick question. I'm trying to get my prerequisites for pharmacy school done in 2 years, which turns out to be no easy task scheduling-wise. But because of my amazing and dedicated advisors, we made it work. I remember in my first meeting with Dr. Lewis, I showed up with my parents to talk about the pre-health program. I didn't know what I wanted to do at the time, and the second I walked into the meeting, there were already pre-med, pre-dental, pre-pharmacy, prerequisites, and acceptance rates already printed out and ready for me to take a look at and compare like all the amazing Parkside stats related to each one. He already looked into what I was interested in, and he prepared ahead. This is the type of dedication and commitment you need as a student, because the advisors here genuinely care about your destination after Parkside. And I know this better than anybody because I'm not even graduating from here. Because I realized I wanted to be a pharmacist early on, I was able to plan ahead and get my prerequisites for pharmacy school done in 2 years. I've done classes pretty much year-round, but because of this, I got admitted into UW-Madison School of Pharmacy, where I'll be attending in the fall. And I could truly go on and on about how Parkside has really, really helped me. But I guess moral of the story is always work hard, but please pick a school that actually cares about your destination. Thank you.
Everyone, my name's Fahad Aziz, and I agree with everything that Tony just said there. Parkside was a very easy choice for me too, because I remember looking at the stats that Dr. Lewis had mentioned, and I was like, that can't be right. There's 90% for med school and such high statistics for all of these graduate schools, and I remember looking at the websites for those graduate schools, and it's like less than 5% of students are getting in. So how is Parkside getting 90% of students in? And when I got here, I found out when I took all the classes here and had the support of the teachers, the students around me. Everyone was so collaborative and so supportive with me, and it just made the journey so much easier than what I've heard it to be. There's so many roadblocks, there's so many things that you could do wrong, and there's so many things I didn't even know you had to do if it wasn't for the support system here and Dr. Lewis, and I'm just very grateful that I had all the support because, like I said, there's a lot of things that could go wrong, a lot of things that you knew you didn't have to do, but maybe you actually did end up having to do them, and it was just probably one of the best decisions I've made coming here because I ended up with the goal of getting into med school achieved.
Hello, how is everyone? Please answer, don't leave me hanging on this. Thank you. I'm doing great, so happy to be here. I truly wouldn't be here if I didn't like the school. Like Dr. Lewis said, I've been accepted, so my time at Parkside has unfortunately come to an end, but I'm not gonna be as academic and follow them up. I'm loud and I'm a visual learner, so I'm gonna ask someone from the crowd, if they don't mind, that's maybe a student. If not, Ashford, I'm gonna bully you and make you do it. But is there someone that would be willing to come up here for just like a 2-second presentation of students? Perfect. Thank you so much. And then, Tony, can I have you scooch down one and Fahad sit there? Dr. Lewis, I'm going to annoy you and have you come up here too. Thank you so much. You can take the middle spot, and Dr. Lewis, can you please stay here? Okay, and then for all the other students and any of the Parkside people, which miss you guys, want to answer this. Does anyone know why, minus Tony, sorry, but Dr. Lewis, student, and let's say Fahad is the student. Does anyone know why I placed them in this order or would have a guess? Faculty can gander a guess too. No one? Ashford, come on, give me an answer. I know you have one. Okay, well, if anyone does, interrupt me and raise your hand. But I placed all 3 of these people because I want everyone to envision yourself as, please say your name.
Connor.
Connor. Everyone is Connor right now in this moment. And at any given point at Parkside, I really want to rein it home that this is how you're going to be. You're going to have the best. I could sit here and talk past how many 5 minutes I have about how great Dr. Lewis is, but to not bore all of you, I won't. You're always going to have a faculty, a teacher, a professor, someone like Dr. Lewis who is truly always in your corner at every single point, directly to your right hand. His office is so close to all of your classes, especially as a health science student. And then if Dr. Lewis, for whatever reason, isn't there, which he always is, there'll be students like Fahad or teachers or tutors or different professors that are always going to be there to help you. And I really want to rein home that, at this school, you will be Connor. You will always have a teacher like Dr. Lewis, a professor like Dr. Lewis, and someone who's always in your corner on, more of a professional level. And you'll always have students like Fahad who have been directly in your position. Like myself, like I said, I wouldn't be back here if I didn't really like the school and have so many good things to say about it. This will be you. And at any given moment, if you ever need any help, whether that's professional, academic, or honestly emotional, you know how many times I've been on the verge of Lord knows what kind of mental breakdown in his office because dental school and all the things that have to do with dental school began to be a little too much. So I'm done with you guys. Thank you. But I just want you guys to envision yourself as Connor, and everyone give it up for Connor. Thank you. But I truly have the best things to say about this school. I think that anyone going here would be making one of the best choices that they possibly could. And honestly, it's fun. I had a good time. I don't regret my time at Parkside. I think that if I could go back and do it again, I would. I've been to MATC and Milwaukee, and not to talk about different schools, but let's just say I'm glad I chose Parkside. So if anyone has any questions regarding dentistry and why I chose to do it at Parkside, like I said, I'm a talker. Please come talk to me. I hopefully can answer your questions.
That everybody made up here. I asked a whole bunch of pre-health students to be here tonight at this function to provide support for students who would be here. Could I just, I know this is not great for video, but could I get you all just to stand up really quick? I just want people to see. I asked these people this morning if they would be willing to come and help serve tonight to help support students that are considering coming to UW Parkside. And we're looking at 8 students that are here right now to help you guys with that. This is the community that Matt is talking about. People show up. People show up and they're here to help you. This is the community that you would be joining if you decided to come to UW Parkside. So thank you guys. I appreciate you coming here as well. So.
Dr. Lewis, can I say one more thing?
Of course.
Also, if you guys are looking to get letters of rec, at any school, I have a million friends that were in dentistry. There were so many people who were calling me like, Matt, how do you get your letters of rec? I truly don't have anyone that the teachers all know of me, but they don't know me. That, and I don't even need to ask them. I guarantee you they will agree with me. That's never been an issue here. I had a roster of teachers all just as amazing as the next that could have been asked for letters of rec. It truly was not an issue. So this school, you will be known, you won't be known of as number 42, you're known by your name, last name, they get to know your families, what goes on in your life beyond just school. So like I said, if there's any reason that you would be stuck between this school versus another, please come talk to me. I can answer any questions for you.
All right. So I just want to do this really quick. I know we're going to run out of time, but we took a nice video of some of the new things that we're doing here on campus, and I wanted to show you the new physician assistant space.
Who doesn't really know what this is a master's level program
Physician assistant is a high-level position in the healthcare field. Kind of lands somewhere between like a nurse and a physician, but they're considered primary care. They're considered primary healthcare types of providers. The program itself is a 2-year master's program, either 24 months or 27 months, and it provides the students the first year of academic coursework, really intense academic coursework, and the second year is clinical rotations. This is going to be the only public physician assistant program in southeastern Wisconsin. Racine, Kenosha, Milwaukee, the surrounding counties, this is going to be the only program that's a public one that's in the area, which means it's going to be really affordable for students in our region. This has, in my mind, it has an opportunity to really change the landscape and change the profile of the university and provide huge opportunities for students in this area. A lot of our students come from a 3-county area, and a lot of them graduate and stay in a 3-county area. The idea is I want to build this for our students in our community and create a high-quality educational program at an affordable price point to really help these students figure out this is something I can actually do and make it all doable right here. This is the promise. This is why I got into education, is to create realistic opportunities for students where maybe they didn't think those opportunities existed before. We're gonna give them that. And then for me, I'm also just really kind of excited about the university. I tell my students frequently, you have to dream. You have to, dare to dream big. Believe in yourself. And for me, this is the university believing in something. In terms of opportunities this will provide, so number one is going to create, for our undergraduate students, a significantly more rich educational opportunity. Because they're going to they'll have access to more high quality material on a more regular basis. So that's number one. Our nursing students are going to have access to this space, right? So we have this consortial nursing program. This is not going to be an exclusive space, right? So they're going to have access to that. It also is going to open up opportunities for like high schools to maybe come do demonstrations, to come see some things. Maybe we work on some collaborations with them, right? We can be reaching out to Gateway Technical College. What can we be doing to collaborate with them? We're going to have, again, the only public cadaver space in this region. So the opportunities, I don't even know what they're all going to be yet, right? I can just think in this limited space what they're going to be. But again, the potential for this is game-changing. Thank you. So we're just getting started. I know we're out of time, but I want to thank you guys for coming. I know we might have some time for some questions, but I know we're right at about 8 o'clock. So this is what we got, and what you see is what you're exactly going to get with this. So we're hoping you're going to consider us. And if anybody has any questions, we're happy to answer them. So thank you all very much. Did anybody have any questions? We can also mill around outside later. Again, I want to be respectful of people's time. So. Don't be shy. All right, so if you don't have questions, that's fine. It's also 8 o'clock at night. I do have some information that's outside on the tables out there. It does contain my business card. My wonderful assistant, God bless her, Kim Fitzgerald, has been out there all night, and she's also got her laptop with her. So if anybody's interested in like scheduling an appointment to talk more about opportunities at Parkside, she is ready to go right now to create scheduling appointments for you guys, for the students, for your parents, for the families. And other than that, I don't know what else to say besides, again, thank you all for coming. I want to thank everybody who put this thing together, from the media to everybody in the College of Arts and Humanities and all the students and everybody, the catering. Just thank you all for putting together a wonderful event. Thank you guys the most for coming here, spending time on this very frigid Tuesday night to come learn more about our university. So thank you all for coming. Please drive safely, and please, I know we're in your backyard, but seriously, give us a thought, give us consideration. We're doing some pretty amazing things here, and we'd love for all you to be a part of that going forward. So thank you all very much.